Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your Libra May 2022 reading and predictions. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James. For those of you who are stopping by for the first time, and the subscribers, you know I love to see you. I'm really excited to be doing these and to see you each month. So please drop a comment and say hi, because I love to correspond with you. Now, I'm not wearing my normal suit and tie as I very often do there, because I'm going out on a date with a woman in real life. So I think, do women like denim? I don't know, or maybe it's a bit too old. Anyway, we'll soon find out, won't we? So we'll soon find out. So there is, as they say, life is short. So enjoy it as much as you can. Isn't that right? Now, there's a couple of things we're going to do today. By the way, I've seen a number of Libras for personal one-on-one clairvoyant readings with me over the last month. And if you would like one, check out the information which is in the description box below. Reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out on the email address that's provided. You can also see what I do by looking at the website that's there as well. Now, I'm using a medieval tarot deck. I'm also taking some, and look, I never use oracle cards, but I'm just going to draw one card only because I saw this and I loved the spirituality which is associated with a lot of the colors and the artwork that's associated with this deck. It's an ancient, it's in the tradition of Australian Aboriginal art, and it has, as a result of it, something I think quite spiritual to say: return to country. Now, we'll have a look at that in just a moment. I'm going to pull now the 5 tarot card decks for you. 5 is the number of change, and change is always about in your life. It's also the planet of Mars, mystically, for me. And I'm going to use quite a lot of astrology in this reading, I think. Depending on the cards that are there and where they're positioned, the astrology will come through, and that will have a bearing on what is said. So what is this? There is the 8 of Swords. Good God, that's quite a gruesome image. That's the medieval stuff for you there. There's the 8 of Cups. 2 8s. Wonderful. The power of balance and decision, among other things. So I'm making some decisions on things to start with, but I won't give too much away yet, because it requires the last 2 cards to also come in and then to interact with each other. The King of Wands. They need to interact with each other because esoterically the suits have different energies and they occupy different worlds, I suppose, in the spiritual order. As an interest, it goes like this. It goes fire, water, air, and then earth. And earth is the realm that we live in, corresponding to. So space and time, matter. Are you jumping out? You look like you are, whatever you are. And you are the Tower. Well, isn't that appropriate? Because there is Mars, and that's the agent of change for you with these other cards here. So come on down now. Sit down here next to me. We'll have a good close look at these cards together while I do your reading for you. Okay, we're going to have a look first at this card here, which is the Aboriginal art, really. Return to country. Now, what might that mean? Well, I think that returning to country is when Aboriginal people return to where they were born and where their families' spiritual links are. It is often a wondrous event, filled with joy, love, and friendship from family. However, for those who return to a country in which they have had limited or no connection, it can be a difficult journey to undertake. I think it's time now for you to look backward, really, and search for who you are. It's a time to explore and to challenge your history. It can at times be painful, however. Trust in the universe that it is your time to reclaim who you are and redefine your identity. And I'm also looking at this card here. It's interesting that these are connected, I think, here. I think issues that have affected you in the past have shaped who you are today. Sometimes you change your outlook on life by looking back, seeing things for what they were, and valuing the lessons and wisdom you have learned because of your experiences. It is time to let go of the power that past events have on you and embrace the future that only you can now control. Anyway, I think that's enough for that. Now, having mentioned this card, I want to have a look at it and see why it has appeared here for you. Why are you here? Eight of Swords. Gee, it's a fairly graphic image, isn't it? Well, look, I think that the imagery here refers to the notion of restriction. It describes, I think, all those situations and conditions when you do not feel free and cannot live as you desire. Time and again, I've found the Eight of Swords shows that restrictions can be imposed not only by external causes, but also by internal ones, and particularly ones that reside in the subconscious, very often coming from childhood. People suppress some part of their personality by setting internal barriers or prohibitions, and this is often the consequence of our complexes, fears, and in particular self-doubt, which has come about as a result of prior conditions. Now, the astrology associated with this card for me in this position here, and with the Tower directly opposite it on this diagonal, is Jupiter ruling the first Decan of Gemini, that 21st or 31st of May. Now, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, and if you can imagine the zodiac wheel, Jupiter in Sagittarius, well, to get into Gemini, it has to move 180 degrees away from where it normally lives, and therefore in Gemini it is in detriment. So Jupiter is weakened, and the inquisitive nature of Gemini inhibits Jupiter. So for me, a weakened Jupiter means that sometimes you feel that you can't get what you want due to too many, that's the Gemini aspect of it, distractions, which may or may not be self-created. I think there's a feeling here where you might be sensing that you're being held back, that there's some unforeseen obstructions. And I have to say it, because I'm feeling it, that there might even be a degree of self-sabotage or fear of failure, holding yourself back, maybe even quitting before you start because you think you will fail. Sometimes, though, you just have to believe in yourself. Now, there's a good chance that all you've ever been told or made to feel in your life so far is that you can't do anything. That every time you even dared to dream that your life could be better, you were shot down or laughed at, made to feel small, made to feel useless, made to feel like an idiot for even thinking that you could be more. Now, all of us, just as we thought something was in reach, we've had a massive shadow of doubt thrown upon us, normally by someone close to us. It hurts, doesn't it? And you then thought of the pain to get what you want, and your brain avoids it. This energy, though, wants you to know that there is nothing you cannot be, there is nothing you cannot do, there is nothing you cannot have. You are the most magnificent, the most remarkable, the most splendid being God has ever created, for who could reject such wondrous magnificence? But you do not know who you are, and you think you are a great deal less. You are your own rule maker, and you are the only one who can assess how you are doing. All you see in the world is your idea about it. Now, understand that life will take off for you when you choose for it to. An idea becomes a thought becomes a word. Say it out loud because words echo all throughout eternity, and a word becomes an action. And if you're going to start doing something, have confidence. Sometimes you just have to believe in yourself. Start and go all the way. Do it. Do it. Do it. Seize the opportunities before you. Rejoice in them. And let no power on earth take them from you. The other thing that I will say is this, that with Jupiter in Gemini, Jupiter is the harbinger, the bringer of unforeseen and unexpected change for the better. The problem which seems insoluble now will find its own solution in its own way. And then here comes the cavalry to your rescue. And we'll have a look at this, which is the Tower. Now, this Tower card is, well, it's very reminiscent of the Tower of Babel in the old Hebrew and Christian tradition. There it is, the Tower. Well, this is Mars in full attack mode coming in to destroy the Tower. This is the Lord of the hosts of the mighty. Now, this is speaking as a result of this card here, and it's bringing to you now far-reaching inner transformation and healing. The old is being destroyed to make room for the new. There's a spiritual renewal. There's a psychological renewal. There's a discovery of yourself, a rediscovery of the true self that you are in self-knowledge. There's release, revelation, and breaking down of old forms and patterns, and it is, in a sense, the calm after the storm. The power of the consuming, purifying fire that comes here destroys the old and sweeps it away. Nothing is spared. The tower of who you thought you were will be shaken to its very foundations. Anything you attempt to cling to will be destroyed by this transforming power. All the apparent illusory securities of the past begin to waver and topple. New growth comes, and all that remains is trust, the knowledge that all events in life arise from the endless love of the universe and bring you the possibility for learning, rediscovery, and recognition. The understanding of the true nature of events transforms even apparent losses or painful disappointments, painful thoughts of the past, into the valuable learning opportunities and gifts that they really are. Times of desperation and inattention, when recognized, can become the most fruitful growing phases of your life. You know, the Tower is also one of the highest cards for healing. Just as the extraction of a rotten tooth provides relief for the entire body, well, destruction of stagnant situations and relations which hinder growth begin a healing process for your entire organism. Having a tooth extracted can be painful, can't it? But when the tooth is poisoning your system, there is no other choice. Now, the strokes of fate may seem equally tragic and unfathomable, but they come to you only because you need them and have, in a sense, created them for yourself, either consciously or unconsciously. If you can recognize and accept these laws of the universe, you possess all you need for true liberation and total transformation to occur. The painful past will dissolve. Now, you are in the midst of, or about to enter into, an extremely intensive transformatory process. Now, whatever is destroyed or shaken within you serves to purify you and make room for something new. Allow it. Are you ready to view yourself and life with new eyes? Observe yourself daily in your daily life. Situations may seem to repeat themselves, but you will not continue to repeat old, limited, restrictive behavior patterns. Say this to yourself. Who I think I am as a belief to be undone. I have the ability to heal and restore myself at all times. I am not inside my body is inside me. And everything that now happens in my life happens for the best. Now, as this transformatory process starts to get underway, you may feel a little bit tired even, like it's as if your psyche is preparing itself for the change that's coming in. And I think that this card is speaking in some respect to that. And let's have a look at it. This is the Eight of Cups. Well, the young man here in this picture, he seems frustrated. And he leaves, though, without any regrets. Now, behind him lie goblets and jugs of fine wine and other items of pleasure and wealth, because these objects, they just don't interest him anymore. Now, what we have here is the planet of Saturn in the first decan of Pisces. Now, Saturn is about structure, organization, discipline, responsibility. It is often thought by astrologers to be the great malefic of the zodiac, but Saturn has a very important role to play. It actually pushes you back onto the path that you are meant to be taking, a path wherein you can fulfill your destiny by walking along it. And Saturn in Pisces, that period of, I think, the decan of the 19th to the 29th of February, if it's a leap year, or the 28th otherwise. Now, Pisces is intuitive, spiritual, emotional. But what happens here, I think, is that Saturn deadens completely the waters of Pisces. Saturn comes in, dominates and suffocates the joy of Pisces. And there's also the flightiness of Mercury. You see, in the number 8 here in the numerology, mystically, I have the androgynous, mercurial, naturally enough, planet of Mercury associated with it. And so that's present, the presence of Mercury here as well. So this overall influence resembles dark Saturn with no growth. Now, the other thing is that Mercury is also in detriment in Pisces, so you have conflict here as well. Now, I don't sell religion, as you know, but I love scriptural works from all around the world. And there's a book in the Hebrew Bible or the Christian Old Testament, the book of Psalms. And I'm pretty sure it's Psalm 16, verse 5, which says, "The Lord is my allotted share and portion. You control my fate." Now, meditating on that verse, Psalm 16, verse 5, pretty sure it is. With every step that you'll find then that with every step you take and each moment that passes, you will feel comfort, confidence, and a stronger sense of direction and increased self-esteem. I think it's now time you consider yourself and put some limits around what it is that you do and how much you give away of yourself. And it's maybe time to say no to some people or some situations. I mean, that may be an old behavior pattern, as we've discussed. To always direct your love maybe towards people from whom nothing comes back in return. This may be a sign indicating your fears of accepting love. And what people come to mind for you in this context? Are you ready to dare to set limits and stand by them? In what situations do you hide your true feelings? This is a good time for you, though, now, and these following cards demonstrate it even more. Well, let's have a look at this card that's in the center. Let me just see what it is. Okay. This Page of Wands. Let's have a look here. Now, in the painting here, this Page of Wands seems to be the embodiment of attentiveness to unusual or new ideas and things. He has an acute sense of curiosity for anything unique and an active willingness to implicate himself in it. This could be a new hobby. It could be a trip to a foreign country. It could even be a foreign language. It's painted as a male. Now, the court cards, of course, are androgynous, even though they're described as often as male or female, but I'm very much getting the sense of feminine energy around to this. The people who are likely to be important to you, or to whom some of the points here may well refer to, are Leo, Virgo, and Cancer. This is a person who is omnivorous, that is, takes in every passion of whatever kind, and can often be entirely reckless in the means of obtaining gratification, and is in a sense insatiable. Now, I think it's possibly a young woman who's energetic, individualistic, brilliant and daring, expressing in love or anger, but it could be someone who may not necessarily just be a young woman, but it could be, of course it can be a man, but it can be someone who's older, but who is, as they say, has a youthful outlook on life. Certainly someone who's very enthusiastic here. Now, the character of the person in this card is extremely individual. Someone, and I'll call it a she, she creates her own beauty through her essential vigor and energy. She bedazzles. In anger or in love, she is sudden, violent, and implacable. She's ambitious and sometimes irrationally enthusiastic about people or projects or lifestyles. But she never forgets an injury, and the only patience to be found in her is the patience with which she lies in ambush, ready to take her revenge. Now, this is saying that, so you've gone through this process of this transformation, and your old fears now have lost their power over you. Their dead remains can frighten you no more. Now, reflect now on your greatest strengths. People are going to love your character and your energy at this time, you know. You'll be confident, daring, exciting, possibly nonconformist, certainly freedom-loving, and ambitious. But there's this great sense here, as I say, of the conquering of old fears and patterns of thought. You've brought them to the surface and conquered them. Although, it has to be said, you often learn lessons the hard way, don't they? So what now is the next step in your life? Find it fearlessly. Learn about ways of transforming fearful feelings. Get involved maybe in dance or trance work or meditation. This is a great time for you now. And it is extended further by this King of Wands. So let's have a look at him very quickly and see what there is in store. This is on the same vein that we've been discussing about. Well, here this king appears to be a leader with a strong business acumen and a passionate soul. He personifies strength, energy, and self-confidence. This is what you're developing. And determination, and also accountability. He manages his realm successfully thanks to an extensive system where he can delegate things to other people. And there's a transparent hierarchy. Now, the king is willing to accept or to consider proposals made by his subjects, but only after considering thoroughly the position and status of all the pieces on the chessboard, as you would expect. I think that Sagittarius and Scorpio are likely to be important to you during this time. This is a time of activity, of generosity. You may well be proud, but you'll have swiftness, and some people might think that the actions that you take are really unpredictable. And it's almost as if there's a fierceness here with you. It's about dynamic forward motion now, increased insight and coming changes, but we know about this. You'll be energetic and ambitious, adventurous, determined, and you'll be very charming and magnetic and very hard to resist. Other people are going to find you very sexually attractive, so do with that what you will. I'm sure you can manage it. Be awake and ready for people or situations which could produce dynamic changes in your consciousness or in your life. Be grateful for this gift from existence. Receive it and don't cling to it. Now, does your present situation allow your energies to develop and unfold fully? And if not, what must be removed or changed? And seek out situations and opportunities that challenge you and engage them with all of your energy. And say that every challenge which arises helps me grow. Every storm strengthens my roots. That's the way it is for you this month. Well, I think that was fantastic, that energy for you. Looks like it's going to be a really good month for you, and what a lot of interesting things going on, and what an interesting set of cards, don't you think? Tell me what you think of these medieval cards, as to whether there's I don't really use them very often, but I must say they do speak to me, and you might also let me know whether you enjoy the this sort of Aboriginal artwork stuff that's in here. There's all sorts of different things. Very, very interesting. Great to see you. Great to see you. Thank you for sticking by for the reading. If you do happen to like it, can you please help me by smashing the like button on the way out? That will enable more people to see the video according to the YouTube gods. But in the meantime, remember this, and remember it always, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.